how do you handle no? And how do you handle no from God? So when I was first starting my coaching business, I had some support and was doing different strategies and had some success in getting clients in. And then I got in the way and began to analyze it and over strategize and over analyze, and it became a little bit stuck. And of course, I was in my own way at that time. I wasn't really strong in my faith at the time, was praying for support and guidance and wanting, this business to be successful. And that was the only outcome that I desired to receive. So when doors kept closing, I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And I wasn't available to hear no. And so what happened is I started to manipulate what I thought I needed to do. So I thought, well, maybe, God's not saying no. Maybe he's saying not right now. Or maybe I'm not praying in the right way. Maybe I need to, ask differently, or I need to change something about myself. Maybe I need to be more, praise him more, worship him more, be more repentant. All these things that I thought I needed to manipulate myself into being or contort myself into being in order to get the answer that I desired. And it never hit me that no is an answer. I kept thinking, God doesn't answer prayers because I wasn't getting the answer that I desired, which was an overflow of success, which who doesn't want that? That is very much grounded in the world and what the world says is success. And what I realized after strengthening my relationship with God and walking with God more, that he was answering me. He was answering me by closing doors. And I began to see that I had made my business an idol, and God is never going to say yes to an idol, ever. So anything that you have made an idol in your life, whether it's your career, it's your appearance, it's your health and fitness, your relationship, your children, anything that has become an idol, anything that you have placed as utmost importance, more important than God, God will never say yes to that. He will say no. He will close doors. And that is him answering your prayer, even though you might be praying for a specific outcome. And when it's not coming, that no may be showing you that you have placed this thing in the wrong order. And what I came to realize, and this really started to shift things for me, is when you make God first and you focus on him, and that is the most important thing in your life, you cannot fail at that. You can fail at your business, you can fail at relationships, and you can fail at your health and fitness. You can even fail, as a parent. But you can never fail when you make God the ultimate goal, your relationship with God, and strengthening that relationship with him and asking him to transform your heart, asking him to guide your steps, to bring you more wisdom and knowledge about who he is, and transforming you more into who he wants you to be instead of who you think you want to be, or who you think you need to be, or who society tells you you need to be. And when you do that, the burden is lifted, that burden of anxiety of not getting what it is that you want and thinking that your prayers aren't being answered, or that God isn't hearing you, or you need to contort yourself in order to get that prayer answered. The prayer is answered. No is an answer. And while it's not comfortable and it may be disappointing, and there may be some grieving of letting go of this dream or this desire that you had, ultimately, when you shift your focus and make it all about God, he will bring something to you that is more who he wants you to be. So it's like pruning a tree. He's pruning off all the things in you that he doesn't want to bear fruit. And he's going to make it so that the things that are left, he's going, of course, those things that are pruned grow even more fruit, right? So you cut off all the dead parts of the plant, and then you cut off even the healthy parts, you prune them so that they can grow even more flowers and even more fruit. And that's exactly what he's doing when he's closing doors or saying no, is he's preparing you for something even greater. So the challenge here is, can you trust him in this? even though we have such a tendency, and I'm guilty of this, of thinking we are the ones that know best and we need to be self-reliant and independent, and we place our own knowledge of what we think is best for us above God's knowledge of what is best for us. And of course, what is best for us in God's eyes is way better for us than what we think is best for us in our eyes. So I would encourage you today to think about where God might be saying no in your life, and allow yourself to grieve if you need to, allow yourself to let it go, and trust that He is going to replace it with something even better. And in that waiting, in that knowing, can you continue to praise Him? Can you continue to seek Him? And just continue to know that He is good. So I want to close with a passage I read this morning that really brought this to light to me. This is from Habukkuk 3:17 and 18. Though the fig tree may not blossom, nor fruit be on the vines, though the labor of the olive may fail, and the fields yield no food, though the flock may be cut off from the fold, and there be no herd in the stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will joy in the God of my salvation. And that is what He calls us to do, is to rejoice in Him, to joy in Him, even when there's no food in the field, even when our job isn't going well, even when our relationship is suffering, even when our health is going through a crisis. Whatever we're going through, He wants us to rejoice in Him and joy in Him, knowing that He is doing all of this for our good. And the ultimate outcome when we seek Him is His glory and His honor, and we will not be disappointed. I would love to hear your thoughts on maybe what you're wrestling with and where it might be hard for you to accept no, and where it might be hard for you to trust that God is doing something good in you. Reach out and let me know.